Huh? Go.
Wait, 27. And she was looking at the time. I said, it's 8:27.
Yeah.
Yes, crunch, please. Don't crunch it anymore than it already
That's why you hit me. Okay, so Betsy, we're back at 8:28. So we left off here, item I, discuss and consider take action for a possible action regarding city social media presence. We had a motion by Alderman White, second by Alderman Falcone for discussion only. Ms. White, you gonna change your motion to table?
Yes, I changed, I think, repeat the whole thing again.
No, just say, you make a motion to table. Just make a motion
I
to
move
table.
that we table item I.
I was looking at.
Thank you.
I have a motion from Councilman White, second by Councilman Falcone to table the consider to take action on possible regarding social media presence, including the review of current posting practices by city officials and employees. There's no more discussion. We'll move to a vote. Phase 1,
Yes.
phase 2,
Yes.
phase 3,
Yes.
phase 4,
Yes.
phase 5.
Yes.
So the motion or the item has been tabled. We'll bring it up in another meeting later on. Item J, discuss, consider, and take action to adopt formatting standards on future agendas to list the person's name that is requesting an item to be presented. Does that have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Dominguez, second by Alderman White, to take action to adopt formatting standards on future agendas. So I'll just open up the discussion. I think this was something that was,
We should do
at
it.
one time.
We should do it.
All the
We
time.
should do it all the time.
And I think that when our previous administrator was here, it wasn't a mandatory thing to do, so we kind of went away from it. But in order to bring it back, Ms. Lisa thought it would probably be best, instead of just bringing it back like that unilaterally, let's just go ahead and give the council an opportunity to discuss that and maybe vote on it. So that was kind of the whole purpose behind it. Does anybody have any questions or discussion?
Do we have to put Councilman next? Or can we put on that one?
If you're next, man, you can put Councilman next. So we're gonna go, if there's no more discussion, we'll move on with the vote. Phase 1,
Yes.
phase 2,
Yes.
phase 3.
Yes.
Phase 4.
Yes.
Phase 5.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt formatting standards for future agendas, to list the person's name and that is requesting the item presented. So we'll move to reports. Daniel, this company here that is item A, Daniel, I can't even see his last name, so I don't want to butcher it. Apparently he broke his leg, so he's not going to be able to be here, so we're going to have to maybe do that presentation at a later date. This company, what they do is they upgrade sewer line systems, but without having to dig them out from under the ground. What they do is they have kind of a balloon that goes, they pull it through the pipe from one manhole to the other. Then they seal the balloon. They actually fill it up with air so it expands inside the pipe. And then they run a UV light. It's like a little robot that has a UV light, and it goes through and it cures that balloon and it hardens like fiberglass. So we don't have to dig up lines. They can do it with the existing lines, unless obviously there's a collapse or something. And it's a thing that works pretty good. Many of y'all don't know, but some of our sewer lines are as far down as 20 feet. So this would definitely help to be able to do that. This technology is pretty amazing. After the thing cures, obviously, you don't have to have, your sewer won't have to be disrupted for a long period of time. It's a pretty quick process. They actually have another little robot that goes back into the tube once it cures, and it knows where all the connections are, and it actually cuts out the connections from the inside out. I think I've seen a little video of it. I think it's pretty cool. He was going to bring a presentation and show us how it works, but again, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So
We did that at the highway. Whenever they ran the new line where Extreme is, then across the highway, it was cracked. And TxDOT didn't want to touch it. They were blaming us, we were blaming them. So, we hired a company, and that's what they did.
Oh.
It's pretty neat. It goes in circles and it creates plastic.
yeah, it's
You got the company's name? You still have the company's name or no?
No, that was years ago.
You might want to just look up
I'm just
this
saying.
company, Fuquay,
Man, cheaper.
Fuquay, Fuquay. They have a little short video on there too that's pretty cool, what they can do now. It's just amazing technology. Item C, we already did B, so we'll move on to item C. What is our current situation with water availability? What is the future plan for the city with water? Some of y'all might have seen the post already. March 25th, we're having the interim chief operating officer of the city of Corpus Water Department. He's going to come out and do a presentation for us. Right now, we have the city hall, the library for him. He's going to do like a 10-minute presentation, kind of let us know, and then he's going to open up for questions. What we're going to try to do to keep it kind of going along, we'll provide, like maybe some kind of cards or something where you can write your questions down, and then we can hand them to them. So like that, everybody's kind of included. We'll try to find some way to do it where we don't go into midnight, because there's so many questions. I know a lot of y'all have questions with our water situation. Some people say, well, it's not as bad as the news media is saying. But I know I've been to Mathis. I've been out to Sweeney Switch as well. And it's crazy. Areas that used to have water, I can literally drive from County Road 888, that's between Mathis and Sweeney Switch. It's a dead end. I could literally drive from there across to Legardo, where the lake used to be. And there's tired where people are pulling their boats to try to get all the way to the water. So it's, I don't know what Corpus's plan is, but he'll be here to answer some of those questions on the 25th. So,
Trump said he didn't give us the money.
He did, did you see that? He did say
Yeah,
that.
he didn't give us the money.
Well,
Peace out.
oh, when he was here, okay.
He needs to give it
Well,
rain.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, just one of the engineers out there said that, Mary, we can have 12 inches of water right here over the lake, and it won't be enough to fill it back up. So, and then 12 inches of water will flood the side of Odom over here pretty quick. But he will be here on March 25th from 6:30, I think from 6 to 7:30, from 6 to 7:30. If there is a big response and we see that there's going to be a lot of people and we're not going to fit comfortably here at the library, I might talk to the school about maybe doing it like the TxDOT did at the cafetorium over there. I want everyone to be able to be in a comfortable place, but also be able to get the information directly from them. And not only what our current situation is, but what they're doing to hopefully try to, address it. So that'll be a good time for come and ask questions. All I can share with you is what I see on the news. The same stuff that you see on the news is all I can share, because that's where I get my information as well, so. But March 25th, from 6 to 7:30, right here in the library, come out, and if you have questions, this is the time to do it.
And Mayor, on a little bit, there's a bunch of other entities that go with this water thing. There's the water district, they got the farmers have their little thing, and there's a lot of factors involved in this. So it's good, because I've been keeping up with it.
They actually, the gentleman that's coming, he gave a presentation to Ingleside and Aransas Pass just recently. That's how I got in touch with him, because I talked to the mayor over there, and he says, yeah, let me just call this guy. And I said, well, you know what, he needs to come and give a presentation to our community, because there's a lot of people scared of what's gonna happen. If we go to stage 4, I don't know how Corpus Christi runs stage 4, but when I was in Austin, stage 4, the car wash is shut down. There's no washing your car. There's no watering. They went as far as limiting your usage to a certain amount, and if you exceeded it, they would charge you a penalty. So there's a lot of people that are kind of worried about what's going to happen, especially if we have to go to stage 4. So
May I have a question?
yes, ma'am.
What do we do if we see residents watering? Nothing.
Well, I think, no, I think at this point, the way the situation that we're in, according to Ms. Lisa, and we might have to.
I saw somebody this past week on Cook that they just had their sprinkler system just going full.
I think with stage 3, you can water, but you have to water with
Yeah,
those.
this was, this
You
was a
want
sprinkler.
those.
But if
Yes,
it's a,
that's fine, I understand that, but this person was watering their whole yard with a sprinkler.
Try coming in at 3 a.m. There's
Mhm.
7 people
I
that
don't
walk.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's
there's
not
not
working.
anything that can be done, is there?
It's on the south side.
well, I don't know what we have as far
Do I
as
just
ordinance
report-
goes.
Hey, I did live my
report it to
get
the
up.
city and they send someone out
No.
to say, oh, we have restrictions,
I think that's probably the best thing to
because
do.
we have no way
So,
of enforcing it.
yeah. I mean, it's hard, because like Councilman Alderman Huerta said, at night, people turn on their sprinklers because they know that nobody's gonna be able to see them, see what they're doing, but if you do see somebody, just call City Hall and we can send somebody out there to talk to them.
I was just curious, because I didn't want to go and knock on their door.
Yeah, so,
Thank you.
any questions, anybody on that issue?
Do we have an ordinance on this? Or how does that work? You said we follow codes, but we're just saying in our records that we follow codes. I mean, you better,
There's a contract with us and San Patricio Municipal Water District.
but to enforce this,
Lisa, you might want to call San Patricio Municipal Water District.
I mean, because we can't really
Buy
enforce
from
it.
them,
But there's something about water
I
restrictions
think there it is.
over there, ordinance.
Yeah, but is there something in writing that we can find and? Yeah.
Well, I spoke to Ms. Lisa and to Ms. Angela, the one that does our water stuff. And we're trying to see if there is a way that we can credit some money back to people who use less water. Because the way the city's billing system is set up, you get 3,000 gallons, I believe. And that we charge you for that 3,000 gallons, whether you use it or don't use it. If you exceed the 3,000 gallons, then we charge you extra for every gallon of water that you use. But there are a lot of people who live by themselves, and I did see Ms. Angela gave me a list. There aren't a lot of people in town that use less than 3,000 gallons of water because they live by themselves, and and they don't have a whole bunch of people bathing. And so she's looking if there's a way on Encode, and I don't know if she's get a chance to talk to you, Betsy, to be able to credit that person. If you use less than 3,000 gallons, maybe we'll give you a $10 credit on your water bill. $10 doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're living by yourself and you're on a fixed income, if your water bill's $80 and now it's only $70, I mean, that's a big difference, and that's a big savings throughout the year. So We are kind of working on that with Miss Angela and Miss Lisa to see how we could do it. And if we're able to do it, we'll bring it up before the council and maybe we'll do some kind of resolution to encourage people to use less water. So,
Commissioners, we're on this conversation here. You know, you brought it off of Facebook, that we have that sewer plant that the water's, it's not drinkable, but it can use other sources. I like to maybe look into that, maybe capture that. Water the Little League, water our parks and stuff like that, you know, and to sell it.
They do it in court.
Yeah, I mean, we got that water, it's clear.
Well, to answer your question on, we do have an ordinance, ordinance number 413. It talks about the stages.
Okay.
So, you know, it's mild, stage 1, stage 2, moderate shortest conditions, stage 3, severe shortest conditions, stage 4, critical. So, yeah, it talks about it.
That on the city webpage?
Yes. You can go to Muni code, MUNI code, and then put city of Oakland. And then you just put water restrictions. If you put water restrictions, it'll lead you to that.
So back on our
as Betsy said, that there's a link on our city website.
Back onto our conversation, maybe we can look into that, maybe set it up, and maybe get some tanks out there. I mean, yeah, the
Well-
water's clear.
It would be, I mean, I wish we were set up now because right now we're selling water to the contractors out there for this housing project that's going on. You know, we had to go put a meter on one of the water lines out there so that we could charge them for the water that they use. If we were able to reclaim this water, the way you've talked about for as long as I've been here, so
Last
if
2
we
years.
can reclaim it, we can sell that water back to those types of, you know, when they start working on the highway, they're gonna need a lot of water. You know, we can sell that reclaimed water to TxDOT, you know, to some of those companies and not have to sell them metered water, because what they're getting now goes through our meter first, and then we have to charge them for it. So this will be water that has already been paid for and has been processed, and now we can use it, they can use it for road construction. And
Well, the Little League, you know, we get those parks up to the bar now, they can't walk. I mean, it's a dinner out there.
so we could set it up
Something like
somehow.
that too.
Yeah.
It talks about even and odd numbers we can water in, and it's only from 6 to 10.
There you go.
So, but I think it would be a code enforcer then, or even city staff.
Yeah.
But like we said,
What service?
I come in at 3 a.m. and I see water going in.
All righty, so we're gonna move on to non-action items. Item A, citizen input on reinstatement of the Board of Police Department. Mr. Rodriguez.
Mine just mainly had a question from last time, like, I don't know, I didn't think it was right to give Stephen Red, or whatever his name was, the time to speak, because he's not a Oakland citizen. And then we had 3 meetings prior to that, so I was just wondering why they let him talk if, well, he's not even a citizen, because I know his mom lives here, my sister and his mom are friends, but I was just curious about that, why they.
Well-
If he didn't make it to the 3 meetings and he didn't, he's not even a citizen, he said he was a citizen. So I was just curious as to why that.
Well, to be open, anyone who has any ties to the community, if you live in Edgewood and you have an issue with something that's going on in Odom and you'd like to come and speak, you can get put on the agenda. You can ask to be put on the agenda to speak about a specific item. We can't say, well, if you live in Bethel, we're not gonna let you come and talk over here.
No. I'm talking about he lives in Corpus. He lives in a different county.
Yeah.
Problems.
You know, he has
That's
his
that's
mom,
irrelevant,
and if
because
we wanna look,
I live and my daughters live in Austin and San Antonio, and there's some things I have issues with over there, but I can't go over there and say anything.
You right.
you actually can.
Yeah, you can. You sure can.
You can.
I'll try
You should
it.
try.
Yeah,
He
you can.
did, and he was that
Yeah,
thankful.
I mean, we're
No, I
talking
was
about,
just, like I said, I just wanted to, we can't ask questions at the meeting, so that's why I couldn't ask last week.
yeah, no,
That's why I
that's
asked.
the reason why. I mean, we go back and I know we had, Mr. Vargas spoke at that same meeting, and Mr.
Yeah.
Vargas, he lives outside the city limits, but we're not gonna restrict him
Yeah.
to come up and
No,
voice
but
his
he still
opinions and
listens to the his
concerns.
daughter lives here.
So,
His daughter's my niece, so yeah, he lives
yeah,
here.
I mean, Well, I think this,
But
the man
anyway.
just said his mother
Yeah.
lives in the area. So.
Yep, that's not.
But that's
It's just
it.
a question, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
argue.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just a
that's
question
it.
for
I
now.
mean, if they like to speak, they can come.
Yeah, cool. I just wanted to, the other thing I had is, I wanted to talk about, one of the reasons we should keep, start up the police department. One of them is because of public safety, and the police department is a deterrent, because even on the way over here, when I was coming, there was an 18-wheeler that ran a light. I mean, this is crazy how they drive so fast through Oregon, and there's no deterrent to keeping people from running, because they know we don't have a police department. Cars are constantly passing through there, especially late in the evenings. I mean, I come from Corpus, from Walmart, when I was coming about 10 o'clock. Dude, they pass by fast. And then, especially because when you come into Odom, I turn right there where the taqueria's at. I mean, they're like right on my butt, man, the 18-wheelers. I get scared sometimes because I'm afraid they're gonna knock me off the road. So that's it's more of a deterrent. Like right now, we can only use the police department as a deterrent because we're not gonna have enough resources. But just the fact that they're there, they could be here at the city on either side, that's a deterrent, because when they see the cars come in fast, they're gonna slow down. It's just like the school. The school hired a deputy to drive around the school and make sure it's a deterrent, because if you have somebody who wants to attack the school or, do a school shooting, they're gonna think about it because the cops driving around monitoring. So it's more of a deterrent, and I think for public safety reasons, they should give it a go. And the thing is, a lot of citizens I know are saying, well, we don't have the money for it. The city, right now, a lot of them say, well, we can't do it because the water tower needs to be fixed. Well, y'all have a grant for that. And yeah, you're gonna need about, I think, 200,000 for the rest of it. I think it only covers 1,800, it's like 200,000.
Well, there's $1,600,000. The estimate for expense to repair it is 2.3 billion.
So, but
So it's a lot more money than
you're still gonna need city money is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's
A lot
not,
of it.
it's not the full one, 2.3 million.
Right.
And then you have the water thing. I agree with you, I'm working the pipes first, because I know you had said, when you originally started it, you were gonna do the pumps first. But then you brought it up and you said you think we should do the pipes first, which is a good idea, because like you said, if the pipe breaks, it costs more money to do it that way. But, we have money for that. But the thing is, in like the streets, everybody's been saying the streets, hey, why haven't they fixed the streets? Well, I know that about 3 years ago, the city council approved close to $300,000. Not one street has been fixed yet. And that's not on the police department, that's not their fault. And then the other thing is, they have, I think, $100,000, something like that, they're still collecting in fines and stuff like that. So they have a little bit of money already. But then when they start, regulating these people that are driving like 60, 70 miles an hour through road, and the trucks that are coming through like a bat out of hell, that'll bring in money too from the tickets. And they can also do, like what she was saying, if they're driving around, they see somebody with their water on, they can stop by and say, hey, you're not supposed to go on there right now. They don't have to get them a ticket if you don't want to, but at least they can enforce it, saying, hey, don't do that, because, we're in the stages of the water, stage 4. But that was just my opinion, because I think that, everybody's so far that when we come to the meeting, everybody's been like totally negative about the police department. They complain about how we're not gonna have 24-hour coverage, but you can work it. If you schedule it right, you could work it where you could have coverage from, say, 10 to 7, the busiest times of the day. You could put them on weekends, so they could come in on the weekends. And I think it's workable, but, they gotta have a more positive attitude. Everybody's got such a negative attitude. That's why I got on the EDC, because everybody has such a negative attitude about Odom. And that's why when I came in, and then the speech that I made about getting on the EDC, I want to make Odom somewhere a destination. And, we have the new subdivisions being built. I want Odom to be better. And if everybody's so negative like they are all the time, we're never going to get better.
Well, let me kind of go over a few of the things that you talked about. The street work, we were going to work with the company that the county has on the contract with. we were gonna try to piggyback on them. But our engineer, looking at our streets, said, you know, the chip seal is not gonna last very long. It's probably better to go with the hot mix, especially some of these roads that are like, especially in Odom South has, and
Yeah,
I say Odom South because
terrible.
the roads over there just going in Nolan, and the other one, even within Hancock, and even where this bike lives, right there on Church. You know, even our engineer said that, you know, just, if you just put you just lay over the chip seal, which is just a layer of tar, you know, of oily tar, and then a layer of asphalt.
Yeah.
You know, that it really wasn't gonna really work. It wasn't gonna solve the problems that we have already, because it's just a small layer that you're just putting glue down with some rocks on top of it. You said you really need to have a hot mix come in here, fix the road, carve out the curves where you have concrete curves, so like that it's level, because if you put hot mix, what ends up happening a lot of times is they just spray it over into the curves, and so now the curves, the water doesn't run the way it should. My experience, and I wish one of our maintenance guys was here, is in some of the past, in the past, when they've done the chip seal, they've just put it over some of our shut-off valves that are in the middle of the street. And we're having to go out there and with a metal detector to try to find where these shut-off valves are. And you've probably seen some manholes that have asphalt on top of them, because they're just throwing the tar down. So their recommendation was that we go with a hot seal. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's gonna last longer. Plus, it's gonna look better, because we are gonna have some new homes being built at Odom South, as well as over here, and maybe over there to the base. I mean, if you go to the school right now to Al Square, you see how nice the road looks.
Right.
That's kind of what we would like to, and that's what the recommendation that the engineer said, you know, you should go with something like that. It's gonna be a little bit more expensive, but in the long run, it's gonna last longer. So,
I understand.
That's
What
why-
engineer was that?
I understand,
What
that
engineer
was
was?
with Hector. This
I
was years ago.
understand that, but it's been 3
From
years, they
Maduro?
haven't fixed
Yeah.
one street.
Not,
I mean, you would think that within 3 years, you should have been able to fix at least a couple of streets.
well, we're gonna get on it, you know, unfortunately, you know, sometimes it takes a little time to.
Yeah, but
to do
I'm
those
just
kinds of
saying,
things.
because that's one of the
So,
complaints.
and the money is there,
Yeah.
there's some money in the street fund, I think there's like 300,000 or something in the street fund. And then there's some fund in the municipal court as well that we can use for streets. So, you know, I'd like to get the area around the new housing projects as well, because people are gonna be driving
Oh,
over
yeah,
there,
plus
you
the
know.
trucks that are going through there
But
right
we're
now.
not gonna do that right now, because the trucks are
Yeah, the
messing up
trucks
the
are
road.
running. That
Now,
wouldn't make sense.
you know, so as far as the school police, I mean, I think it's a great idea that the school has police because of all the
Yeah,
shootings.
it's been going on, yeah.
But they've been without police for a long time,
Yeah.
and the kids were always saying, we went to school here, they didn't have police. We never felt, I mean, I tell people all the time, I remember, and some of y'all that went to school back in our days, there was some of the guys whose parents were ranchers with
Yeah, they had the
rifles
gun rights.
and the gun racks.
Yeah,
They never once thought about going out there, grabbing that gun and shooting
No.
up the school, and those rifles were loaded.
I
You know,
remember.
so, you know, while it's good that they have the police there, unfortunately for the school, the state passed a law that requires them to have police,
Yeah, well, I'm just saying.
but
it's a
they
deterrent.
don't give them the money
Yeah.
to pay for it. So now it's costing the school, it's costing the citizens to have those police there. So I'm not against, you know, having police in Odom, but we've only been in this situation 2.5 years in now. We were talking about, you know, where do we go with what we have available to us now, and what's more important? What we don't have a backup for is our sewer lines. You know, right now we have the sheriff's department and DPS that are, I mean, everyone saw what happened with the shooting. We were on the news. Within a matter of minutes, there was, I don't know, 5 deputies there. I think there was 8 DPS troopers there. It was a very, very quick response to that type of situation. But you're right. If you leave your garage door open and the police are driving through, it's less likely somebody's gonna go in there and steal something from you. But,
Well,
you know,
my
if
main-
somebody steals
my main
something-
complaint is the way people drive in Odom. I mean, it's dangerous. Eventually, if you keep rolling the dice, you're gonna hit snake eyes, man. Somebody's
oh,
gonna get
my
hit.
mom got hit at the light
Yeah.
because the light turned green and the 18-wheeler didn't stop and hit her, you know.
But
And
whatever
unfortunately,
happens someday when there's a kid crossing the crosswalk.
well, there's been people killed already. We're not necessarily a kid, but there's been people
But the
killed
thing
here.
is, it's a deterrent, and, you know, we need safety here in Odom, man. We do.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. My thing is financially, and we're gonna have a workshop.
Didn't they have a surplus last year of 600,000?
It's gone. It wasn't 600,000, it was more. What was the surplus for last year? Do you remember right offhand?
I mean, we got time to talk about it.
It's not-
Yeah, 'cause-
So we are gonna have a workshop about the police department, and they are working on getting some numbers together, because I think Councilman
Well,
Dominguez
have
gave
we
us
looked into doing what we did
200.
before when we hired Sydney, or when we hired the county?
well, hopefully we'll have that discussion at the workshop for the police department. I think Councilman Dominguez, Alderman Dominguez, gave us a budget of 200,000 and see what we could do with that. And they have been working really diligently, reaching out, to other departments. They've also been looking at, some of the information that you obtained was from where? We talked earlier about it.
Money for the courts. Money for the courts?
No. From one of the systems that you were able to get some numbers out
The
of.
court system.
The OCA.
OCA. So, you know, we'll be able to explain that at this meeting. Like I said, I done a workshop, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not against it. I just feel like we're 2.5 years in. We're heading in the right direction. We're doing good. And let's fix some other things first, and then maybe see where we go from now, you know, in the future. Because I would hate to hire officers to come and work for our community, and then they start building the bypass, and then we said,
That's
you
2
know,
years away.
but it's coming.
Yeah.
And then Driscoll, and even Bishop had to cut back on their police department because of their bypass. So I would hate to hire these people and then, you know, have to tell them, well, you know what, we can't afford you anymore. You know, I'm sorry. And we have to let them go in 3 or 4 or 5 years. Because I can tell you when I chose my career and where I was gonna go, I looked at retirement. You know, can I stay there forever? Now, if these guys are coming and say, we're coming to Odom just so I can, you know, make my resume look really nice, and then I'm gonna go to another department where they're gonna pay me more money, then we're gonna have this little turnaround,
Oh, yeah.
constantly turnaround.
Turnover.
So turnover. So, but we are gonna have a workshop, and you're welcome to come. Anyone's welcome to come and look at what they've been working on.
That's,
And hopefully, you know, like I said, I'm not against it. I just would love to be able to handle a few other things before we move in that direction, and make sure that it's gonna be a department that we can keep for the long run, where somebody might be able to come here and say, I'm gonna retire as a police officer from Odom.
yeah.
You know, not, I'm gonna just come and work for a few weeks or a month or a year or whatever, get some experience, and then go somewhere else.
Well, thank you for your answers. I appreciate it.
Okay, item B. Next. Is that it, Ian? Maybe not, I guess it should have been up here, under reports. Well, we'll do it before we adjourn.
Okay.
So I know that some people have some things. What I want to do is, I want to present some of our volunteer firefighters here. You know, this is something that we don't have a backup for, is our firefighters. You know, and these guys work regular jobs every day, and sometimes they work their day job, and some of them I know they work really, really hard throughout the day. And then they get a call, they get home, and I listen to their calls constantly, and sometimes I'm getting home at 5:30, 6 o'clock and a call goes out. I know these guys are just getting home from their jobs and they get now, and they'll get up and go, and they will stay out there as long as it takes. Even if it's just one of the adjacent cities that calls for mutual aid, these guys will go. If sometimes EMS just calls these guys, they'll go help them lift the patient and they'll go. So recently we had a situation that by the baseball fields, everyone was aware of it. And two of our volunteer firefighters responded to that call, not knowing what they were going to get into. And when they get there, one of them performed CPR on the victim or the patient. They had to do CPR for 45 minutes. And if anybody's even had to do CPR once in your life, you realize that doing CPR just for a few minutes is tiring, it's exhausting. They had to do CPR on this man for about 45 minutes. They assisted on blocking roads to keep people from getting in there because everyone wants to go see what's going on. And then they assisted in getting Heloflight here on the ground and help get the patient on the helicopter after they were able to get a heartbeat and it was a sustainable heartbeat. So we don't thank them enough for what they do as volunteers. And I can't say enough about the work that you guys do and how much I appreciate everything that y'all do for the city. Now we are gonna present you all with a certificate, and I'm gonna read here. City of Odom, gratitude for heroic, my mouth's dry, actions. This award is presented to, and we have Brett Epperson, Aaron Salinas, and Dan Chapman. Thank you. For recognition of your swift, selfless, and courageous actions on February 12th, 2026. Your dedication to saving a life exemplifies the highest standard of bravery. This is given this day of 3rd of March, 2026. So I don't think Dan is here, is he?
Dan and Aaron, they're both.
Dan and Aaron are here. So we have Brett.
Yes,
You can come out up here. Again, I can't say enough about what you guys do. I know you work hard every day. You come home, and then sometimes you gotta get called out. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you so much. You guys, you're their
I'll
leader.
take those.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. So I'll get it to him, though. Okay. Yes, thank you, Chief Petran. Thank you so much for what you all do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So does this mean we're getting a new truck or something?
I gotta get some AEDs.
There you go.
Yes, we are getting the AEDs.
I gotta get some
We're
AEDs.
gonna try to get you 3 AEDs, and we're gonna get you training for them. We're gonna actually try to get one for City Hall, the library as well. After what happened, I think it's important that you guys have those. It's just another tool for y'all to hopefully save a life again. So,
Especially when you mess like that day, they were on another call or taking another patient, so.
well,
Benefit.
what I heard from the sheriff was that actually our EMS was out, Sinton EMS was out as well, so they couldn't come and help. So we had to get Taft EMS to come over here. And the whole time that we're waiting on the ambulance to get here, these guys are out there blocking roads, doing CPR, trying to bring, hopefully save a life. And again, I can't say enough about what you guys do for our community. Again, I want to thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. We all do. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, I think we had some reports that, so we're gonna go ahead and open it up. Councilman, Alderman Baldwin.
I just want to thank Lisa for putting lights up on the highways. You got the lights working.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Now, we need LED on them.
So if you don't want, if you're not aware of the lights coming into town from the south side, they hadn't been working for a while. We thought it was an electrical issue. We finally got an electric company that would work on them, because not just anyone can go out there and work on these kind of things. Somebody had gone in there and stole the copper wires on the lighting. So, I don't know what copper's going for nowadays, but it must be going for a lot if you're willing to get in there and pull a bunch of copper wires out of a light. So, they had to come in and rewire the whole thing. So, and we just thought it was that somebody kept telling us, well, there's a switch somewhere, you gotta go hit the
Somebody turned it off.
switch. Yeah, and, no, they went in there, opened them up, and somebody had stole the copper wire. So, but they're back on. So yes, Ms. Lisa, thank you for getting on that. Appreciate it. Anyone
Mayor,
else?
I'm sorry, I wasn't here at the very beginning, but the flag and the Veterans Memorial Park needs to get replaced. It's torn.
It's already been replaced.
Where was it? Today?
It was replaced the next day after y'all told me.
No, that was the, no, I just saw it.
Really got torn already?
It could be the wind. We got 30 miles an hour. These winds are terrible.
Because the next day after the council meeting, it got replaced and the lights
The-
got fixed.
And the light,
too.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, but it's torn again because like Jesse said, the wind.
Winds, battles, like.
Mayor, is there a way that,
And maybe
we
in the
can talk to the contractor with the trucks, that they just take one route? Instead of coming, they take every which route and just mess it up, or,
Yeah.
I mean, you see them through
Well, we had,
Third Street, and then you see them through Woodlands and Baylor, and
we had gotten with them because, to come to here, to Main Street, and then come around and go down Third Street, because they push straight, because they were coming through the railroad tracks, and then they were trying to turn on Front Street, or First Street, no, Front Street. And they just couldn't make the turn. Well, so they were going further down, so of course then they were causing issues with the road further down. So I will get with them, I'm trying to get with them tomorrow, because they should be coming through this side and then going to Third Street, so they it's a straight shot to the construction site.
because
So,
I've seen them personally too.
okay,
And then they come through whichever way they wanna come.
I'll get with the project manager tomorrow and tell them that they need to come this way, they can't be coming over, I will get on that, that's for sure, thank you.
Mayor, I don't, was it our street sweeper that was out sweeping today?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm
Yes.
glad to see that.
And we are
We haven't
working.
done that in a long time.
New batteries.
We are trying to schedule a cleanup of the highway with the police, with the sheriff's department,
Mhm.
so they can help us, get the sweeper out there, as well on the highway.
Frank was helping on that too.
Was it Frank?
Yeah.
Right,
Okay, Constable Frank, and I know that we have reached out to him, I didn't know that he was out there with them.
yes.
That's fantastic, so,
I was excited to see it
yes, ma'am,
back in use again. Thank you.
yes, ma'am, thank you. Anyone else? All right, guys. Also,
So about 80 to 90% of our citizens work in corporate. So somebody forgets to pay a water bill that day. They get cut off, they get home at 5:30. Do we turn them back on that same day? Do they pay it, or do they have to wait till the next morning?
we try to be, we're here to provide a service for our community, and, when we can help, we're gonna try to help the community. If you forgot to pay your bill, and we still have a maintenance guy that's close by, or maybe they're working on something close by, we're gonna try to help the community out, just like with the trash can issues. So we're gonna try to do our best. We're trying to provide a service to the community, and we can help people, like that. Obviously, we're going, and if we can't, we can't You know, sometimes we're not gonna come out at, you know, you come home from work at midnight and find that your water's out, and we're not gonna send a guy out,
Yeah.
you know, that late at night, but we're gonna try to help people out, you know, with this trash can issue.
So it happened to,
Right, and they went and they turned it off.
yeah, they turned it off, after I called.
Yeah.
I called and, but no blame on him because he said that's what he was instructed to do before your time. So I don't know where that came from, but I know that, I mean, I don't, I'm not against even charging a fee if they have to.
I think one of the problems is that they don't see the payment come in. So we got the phone call at after 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
The payment came in after 5 o'clock. The maintenance people don't see that.
Right.
They don't see that payment. So they're gonna just take the word of the customer calling and say, well, I need my payment, can you go in and come and turn it on? I'm not gonna do that. Even
But if
though
they
it's
show a
sad.
receipt.
Yeah, he had a receipt.
That, what we used to do is, like Isaac said, you tell them, yeah, we'll send a guy, he's on call, but we have to charge him.
And I'm okay
You're
with
gonna
that.
charge $30, $40, whatever you guys.
Because now what's happening now is a lot of people are doing they're paying online now. So they get their bill, and I know it happens at our house. We get our bill and we just like, yeah, I'll pay it
Now it's a
online.
whole sheet of paper. I used to for the little card.
Yeah.
Now I gotta find a whole paper with all the other papers.
More paper. Yeah, so, some people, you know, are doing it online, which is really helpful, you know, but if they do come in a little late from work and it's like, oh, I forgot, you know, and they go online, they pay it real quick, if they can send us a screenshot that they paid it, you know, we'll get somebody out and we'll just charge them a reconnection fee, you know.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
We're trying to help out. We're trying to help out.
Since we're doing housekeeping, how about on Friday, somebody go out and see these trash cans are all messed up? I mean,
I agree with that.
maybe on a Friday, yours are messed up?
Well, this is what we did with our previous city administrator, we kind of, because they would only come out on Mondays and the trash cans are subcontracted. The Republic doesn't do the trash cans, they have another company that comes out. Well, they would only come out on Mondays, they'd say, we'll come out on Mondays, you have to leave your trash can out and it better not have anything in it. And if it had just one thing in there, they wouldn't take, it had trash in it. You know, because it's gonna fly out of our truck and then, you know, so they wouldn't take them. So what we did is say, you know what? Why don't you just bring us the trash cans? We'll put them at the maintenance shop in the back. Bring us a new batch trash cans, bring us a dozen or so. And then our maintenance guys will go out and switch them out when they need. So when we tell the customer, leave it out there, but it needs to be empty. If it's not empty, we're not gonna pick it up. We're not gonna do like they used to. If it's got one of these in there. We don't want a trash bag in there, and then our guys have to go and throw that trash somewhere else. So, but we just got some, and they're already all gone. So,
Okay.
yeah, so what they'll do is they'll bring the old ones and store them there, so when they come, we give them all the old ones, and they give us a bunch of new ones, so. But we got them in one day, and they were all distributed in one day, so now we're waiting for another bunch.
You're having the brush cleanup or whatever, the site open this Saturday?
Yes,
People are asking, do they go and then tell them, hey, can I just add it to the bill? Or how are y'all doing?
You're charging the site.
Are you charging at the site?
the guys are there, so I don't know if they're charging the site or not. At the time,
Well, you didn't.
No,
They have a clipboard, they never did, right?
No, they didn't take any money.
No, they don't.
Don't they got a clipboard or something like that?
Well, they used to,
Yeah.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't think that they charge them like that.
We haven't been opening it up on the weekends for a while, just because of the issue.
But
with
because,
staff,
let's say
but-
somebody hears about it, oh, I need to take this. So the guy should have something,
Right.
and then you just add it to the bill or send them a bill.
Yeah, because they, ideally what they should do is come over here and pay and get their little receipt that they paid, the $15 or whatever.
Well, during the day, a lot of people are doing
Yeah,
it.
they're not asking to do it. On Saturday, we're
They're
not
asking
open.
for a Saturday,
Yeah.
you know.
It's Saturday, right? This
Because
Saturday.
there's
the
a
first
fee.
day.
Yeah, it's every first Saturday of the month.
Right, because there's a fee for in town and there's a separate fee for out of town, I mean, for the
So
We
right, so
can
like-
update it, we can update the post and put how much the fee is. Or you're asking to see if they're gonna be paying there whenever they pay.
No, are the guys gonna be writing down their,
Are they gonna be required to show their water bill?
I think that's probably good, is to get their water
They're
bill.
supposed to-
That's how it was before.
Yeah, bring their water bill and.
That way you can, that way you can get their name.
There's no charge.
On Saturdays.
that way they get a chance to come in and pay it before you send them the bill.
They charge on Saturday.
Or do you prefer that they come in on a Friday and pay it, but what if they work during the day?
Yeah, they won't
That's
be
why
able
they're
to.
asking.
Yeah, I think the best thing is bring their water bill or something to show where they live. We'll take the information off the water bill and then we'll bill them.
Invoice.
We'll invoice them, yeah. So,
We'll update that post that way.
I'll let them know.
all right, anything else?
Little League baseball season started.
The lights are looking good.
Is everything done?
They said,
The lights are all.
they still, they're looking, still looking for barriers to keep, like for the kids to walk. And I kind of told, well, those blackberries we have over there in that empty lot, put them there, because they don't, these have the big old orange, yellow barricades, they don't have those no more. So,
Did you talk about the fence line, right?
no,
Where the cars park?
no, he wants like a little area
Okay.
between the, like the street and the fence, you know how they park all in there? He just wants like a
Put some
little,
barriers so
yeah.
they can have
The
like a
kids-
walkway.
yeah, there
they're
you go.
walking.
Okay. Well, let me get with it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go.
There's some black
Yeah,
barriers there you could buy, I told him you could buy, you know.
they were the ones that we used
Yeah.
at the park. We get it taken off at the park, so they should be able to just grab those.
Yeah, put those things.
Put some stakes in there.
He's just worried about that, that's the only thing.
Well, I went out there when they turned the lights on, when they had them all on, man, that's nice. Right, I mean, it just looks, it looks really nice, I mean, the way they just kind of work, you know, they're getting their scoreboard up, right? They're gonna get a new scoreboard also, they got donated, so that's coming.
And I think Miss Lisa probably got kind of, I think Gil's the only one that has the code. That's very nice.
Mayor, what's your commitment to Little League? Do you remember our partnership is with that? Is we pay for the mowing and the lights and all that, or do we not pay for the lights, or?
What was the
There's some
electricity?
kind of
Oh, the lights? Yep.
Is that what it was?
You
So
know,
we don't do a flat donation,
No.
just the lights?
No, yeah.
all right.
There's a man that volunteers to mow the baseball field.
There's nothing else? I need a motion to adjourn? Second?
I see.
Nobody's second.